Try to step into the light, just give it a try. Think that it's time you let that spark out. You've been hiding in the shadows way too long. And who cares if you might mess it up? You're stronger than the others think. And who cares if you...
Hello everyone, good evening from Australia. My name is Narelle Warcon and I am from Queensland, Australia, and it's so wonderful to see you all again this week. Those who are coming in from all over the world, thank you for being here. Thank you for your support, whether it's morning, afternoon or here in Australia evening. We really appreciate you being here. So thank you once again. Today we do have a special guest. And yes, we will go over to him very shortly. But I do want to share a little bit with you before we do. And one of the, you know how I sort of read, if you've been watching me for a little bit, you know that I do some researching, just different things like that. Words come up for me. Hi, everybody jumping on. Thank you, Kaylee. Lovely to see you in Burgeth. The words that came to me today was enjoy the journey. Now, you know, what does that look like? We all have lives where we've lived through certain things in our lives. And for me, if you've followed me for a little while now, you will know that I have shared my story about surviving sexual, physical and mental abuse. We will go over to my book a little bit later called Blonde Roots. However, it's about enjoying the journey. And I had a review come in for my book today that said, wow, you know, a roller coaster of a ride. How you survived or come out looking unscathed. And that person said, you know, how when we see a person, we don't see what they've been through. We don't see what they have had to cope with in life. We see them for who they are today. People see me as unscathed, very happy, healthy woman who doesn't seem to have gone through that much in life. But again, like I said, if you want to go back and watch those different episodes of when I shared more about my book, more about my life, more about what I have come through, that way you will understand me a little bit more. So today, have a think about, you know, about enjoying the journey. If you want to write something in the chat, that would be really great. Let me know where you're coming in from. And please share a little bit about, you know, what you're enjoying about the journey. What happened this week, this last month, this last year, something that, you know, has had you feeling that enjoyment in life. Okay, so I see a couple coming in. Shirazi, thank you everyone for being here. For those coming in on Facebook and LinkedIn, thank you very much for being here and welcome, welcome, welcome. I appreciate each and every one of you for your love and support. So our guest speaker today is coming in from Australia, from Victoria. He is originally from Somalia. Now, our guest speaker's name is Abdi Alasso, and I'd like to introduce Abdi, and say a big welcome to you and thank you for popping on so that we can find your diamond within, or you can shine that diamond that we know is in each and every one of us. So welcome, welcome. Thank you for being here, Abdi. Oh. You're just dropping out. Oh, okay. Yeah. Keep going, Abdi. Yeah.
Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. Thank you, Narelle, for inviting me your show, What, Where, and When Wednesday. It's beautiful to be part and participating here. Yes, I'm glad to be here. Thank you.
Wonderful. Abdi, thank you. And yes, I didn't say my Who, What, Where Wednesday, so thank you for reminding me. I have to keep so much in my head, you know, so thank you for reminding me. We do come every week, Who, What, Where Wednesday. It really is a lovely little get together of those people who would like to share that, you know, that diamond. We scratch the surface of who you are, where you come from and things like that. So let's start there. let's, we know that you were originally from Somalia. So tell us a little bit about, where you were born, any siblings, mum, dad, why you came to Australia in the what, years, younger years and things like that. But start off there. That'd be great. Thanks, Abdi.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you, Narelle. Yes, my name is Abdi Alasso. I was born in Mogadishu, the capital city of Somalia, where I was the firstborn of my mom and dad. They were first marriage for them as a young age. I think they got married as a young age. And when they have me, somehow their relationship ended. So I was
Oh,
the that was only me that from mom and dad together, but then everyone got their own way and got married. So I grew up with my dad, mostly when I was born because of their life at the time. Mom was a young girl, dad was also a young man. So I was taken to the countryside with my grandma. So I stayed with my grandma until the schooling year. So when
yeah,
it get to like 6 years schooling period, then I came back to the city and then I lived with my dad. So my dad married many times, but he only had one daughter with another woman. So I had that daughter from my dad's side. But my
right.
mom have married only one time with another man, and she had many siblings. She had many kids. She had actually
Yeah.
triple twins. She had a triple
Wow.
twins like three times,
Oh my gosh.
three times, yeah,
What a
three
woman.
times. Yeah, not triple like I said, three babies, but she had a one time two like that, six,
Yeah, yeah,
in a row.
yeah,
But unfortunately, most of those twins have died prematurely or born in 6 months later, 5 months later. Uh, they passed away. Only one survived, but then there were other single ones. So I had about three sisters and two brothers from mom's side and one sister from my dad's side. Uh, I grew up in Somalia. Grew up with my dad. I went to school in Somalia, and then those days when I graduated from high school, it was very hard to get a uni because there was not many universities and there was so many students graduating from school that not
yeah,
everyone will be able to be accommodated. It
yeah,
was a small position, so in a sense, it was like you gotta have the highest scoring, or in another way, in a sort of like corruption-based stories that you have to know someone from within. So that
right.
was the only you could get into uni. So in a couple of years' time, or 1 year, I think I was staying home probably 1 year after high school, doing nothing. And then I just said, look, I need to do something. I asked dad, and my dad we were middle class family. My dad he used to actually recruit young people. He used to recruit like in a family circle. He used to get young people and buy them a ticket and airplane ticket and get them a visa and send them overseas so they can work for themselves. And
Wow.
and for him and for them to get back, for him to get something out of that, he used to go to wherever they're working. I think mainly was Saudi Arabia and Kuwait and Iraq and all that. So he goes there, so he get there because they don't have a bank to bank or there's no. So he used to take their high currency and
Mm,
go to Europe and get import from Italy and India and Germany for either construction materials, food, cars, and then when he brings in, he will build them their money for house, whatever they want to do with their money, he give them back or he build them a house. So I say to him that you are giving this to these people because I have nothing to do. I said, I'll take care of myself. Just give it to me what you give it to them, and then I'll go and I do work. So I went to Saudi Arabia. I stayed there for 8 months. I worked very hard. I make about $5,000,
Wow.
and then I got a message from him, from one of his friends that was doing the same thing, that passing pie through Saudi Arabia to Italy. So he said, "Look, I got a message from your dad. He wants you to come back to Somalia. He's gonna make you, he's gonna make you to leave this country for good. Like he doesn't want you to." So basically, what he was envisioning was the Somali civil war coming.
Ah, righto. What did you
So
actually do in Saudi Arabia when you did that? What was the position that you were doing? Like what work were you doing over there?
yeah, basically laboring because I wasn't
Okay.
qualified or laboring.
Yeah. No, that's cool.
So he didn't want, yeah, he didn't want me to come back to Somalia without knowing what's going to happen. So he said, "Look, come back here before things get started, before things get interrupted, so I can sort of organize for you to go somewhere in Europe or America or Canada, you know."
Yeah.
So I went back, and then I came here. He talked to some of my relatives who were consul general of Somali embassy somewhere in Africa. So I went there, and then I got a visa for Australia to come here. 1 month
Okay.
visa, $100.
Wow. What year was that, Abdi?
That was the bicentennial year. That was 1988.
88. Yeah. That was a great year in
Yeah,
Australia.
yeah,
Expo
yeah. It was great
Expo
there. It was
88.
beautiful.
Yeah. Expo 88. So I'm glad that your dad was very concerned for you, as Jean just shared as well, that he brought you back to Somalia. And was there much of a time frame before you then decided to come over to Australia?
No, no. It was just basically 3 months. I went
Yeah.
through a ship. The ship from Saudi Arabia, I boarded on ship, and then the ship took only 3 days to go to Somalia, which is not far, on the cross the Red Sea, and then
Yeah.
another 1 month in Somalia, and probably another 2 3 weeks while I was waiting for the visa from that cousin of ours who helped me to get the visa.
Yeah, well, so you've reached Australia, 1988. What do you feel? You know, this is a completely different country to where you grew up, to where you were born. So what were your first sort of feelings when you hit the shore of Australia? And did you come straight into Melbourne or did you come to Perth first?
Now, that itself, coming to Australia, really is a long story. The progress on the way here is a long story. I was about to send it back from Nairobi International Airport back to Mogadishu. I missed my flight on the
Oh,
transit way. Anyway, I somehow I managed to change the route and come through Nairobi, Roma, Algiers, and then again on my way here with a 1 month visa, with the last batch of my ticket was still no more return ticket, and it's unlogical that someone can travel with no money and no return ticket and 1 month visitor's visa. No way anyone could travel. But that time helped me because of 1988. Things were not as it is now. I remember opening my first bank account in Sydney Road here in Victoria, Melbourne, without no one asking me any ID. I just went to a
wow.
State Bank of Victoria, open an account without any IDs. So it was really strange land. It was scary for the first 2 3 days. I didn't have a friend or family or anyone. I was just
Mm.
expecting someone, Somali communities. I did have a one friend that I knew he was here, but the problem was there was no phone number. I only had an address.
Ah, okay. Yeah.
In
And
Sydney,
no money.
I came to I came to Sydney. I came to Sydney from Frankfurt, Lufthansa Airways, 6 o'clock in the morning. This was the funniest thing at the airport. 6 o'clock in the morning, I was
Yeah.
queuing up, worrying that the migration will not let me in. You know, and
Yeah.
and I was in a queue, three-line queue. It was a lady, an old man, and a young man doing the work. So I jumped from one line to another line to another line, thinking who is going to be faster. The faster line that the person who's
Yeah.
not checking. And then I hided my boarding pass. I hided my ticket and everything. No, sorry, I just show my boarding pass that I from Lufthansa flight, and then my passport, that's about it. And the visa was sticky onto the page, and it was tear. It was teared a little bit.
Oh.
And when he said, where you from? I said, I'm from Somalia. And he opened the passport with the visa page of the computerized side of the page was tear. And he said, well, he teared, it was half tear, so he teared the whole lot. And he said,
Oh.
look, this side of the computer, he said, put it in your pocket. If you lose this one, you will not be able to get out of this country. And I said,
Oh.
I'm not going anywhere just to give me the baby, my friend. I'm not going.
That's
Yeah,
really funny. And you know what?
he thought I was a genuine tourist. He didn't know that I
Yeah.
was a new invention. I was a new explorer. I was a new
Yeah.
person who wanted to find life in this country.
Yeah. And Australia just doesn't let any old person in. I'll let you know that. So you must have just given them that nice big smile for them to let you in freely. But we're glad that you're here. So just continuing on from there, you've got to Australia now. What are you doing? Like where do you go? You've got one friend that you have an address to, but is there something that you're going to do? Like, are you going to look for work? You said you opened a bank account without any details, and it was probably easier way back then. Okay, to what it is today. You need all this identification these days. But go on with the story and just let us know, like, what did you do? What did you start doing?
That was in Sydney. So I went to the address. It's very, very amazing how after 36 years, even though I throw that book that was address was written for me when I was living in Somalia, that address is still in my mind. You know,
Yeah,
that
wow.
address, that address after 36 years, I lost the book, I lost the address almost 5 years into my life here, but still, I remember the number of the flat, I remember the address. So I went
Yeah,
there, I came, with my $100, I exchanged it. It was 115 or $20 Aussie dollar with the 100 US. I called a taxi. I went to Hilton Hotel in Pitt Street, Sydney, where this friend was doing a restaurant worker like he
okay.
was working on the restaurants. So I went there early morning. I told their name. The guy said, "Look, we don't know him." And then finally, one guy said he used to work here, but he left. He no longer works here. So I looked
Uh,
somewhere to stay tired. So I slept in the morning, CBS hotel. Then went to the next morning. I went to the address and I found him. Luckily, I found his older brother. They welcomed me for a couple of days. But then they suggested Melbourne is a good place to go because of the good transportation. A few more Somali communities live there. They didn't have
yeah,
enough space for me. And yeah, and I came to Melbourne and then I started working. My first years was basically laborer, working factory hand, doing textiling like hosieries and things like that, textile industries for a couple of years. Then I went to transportation sector for a couple of years. Then I went to truck driver. Then I went to West Australia to do some TA work with the energy sector. Then I came back and then I worked with so many different things I did until I told
yeah,
myself, well, yeah, you need to do something different.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, you can bounce around jobs, but isn't it lucky? And aren't you blessed that or we are all blessed, but I'm just saying, like, aren't you blessed that that gentleman that you knew or had an address for was actually there, and they helped you to get down to Victoria, you know, like told you where to go, where you've got more of your, you know, culture and the people that you can communicate with, and they usually help each other very much so. You know, that's one of the best things about Australia is there's a lot of people who come into our country, and they sort of tend to go with their culture people for a little while until they get on their feet. And I think that's a really big thing in Australia that I'm very proud of, for those, you know, cultural interactions that they have with new people coming in. It may be a little bit harder these days, but I'm glad that you're here, and I'm glad that you were able to do those things. And even though you jumped from job to job or did different jobs, again, one of the big things I find is that those coming into Australia are just so grateful to be in our beautiful country that they want to get out there and work their hardest. They want to get out there and prove themselves to a certain degree, you know. So just moving on again from there, because I think it's really interesting. Was there something in that part of your life that took you through and gave you the strength to keep going, you know, through those difficult times? Because there would have been times when you sort of rode a bit of an emotional roller coaster. You know, we all have a strength inside of us, but can you share something, I suppose, with our people listening today about, you know, what did you find, or who did you find, or, you know, the strength that you found to keep going into where you are now?
Thank you, Narelle. That's a really good question. I have many things that allow me to keep going. The first one would have been, I didn't mention, but as my dad predicted, when I came to here in 1988, it was late 88, so 89 not counted, but the early of 1990, Somalia went to civil war. No more
Yeah.
communication with my family. No response. There's no telecommunication. Was very hard, not like it is now. So it was really stressful, and I want to help, but I didn't know how to help. I wanna know what happened to my mom or what happened to my dad, but then it was only news coming from uh, SBS and Channel 9, and that's all you only see. And there is no anyone. I couldn't communicate with anyone, so it was difficult and stressful. So I worked it
Mm.
in, and also as a young man, you know, I wanted to build something for myself. But then my main priority was really to go and study. I want to study, to go to uni and study, but it took me 2 3 years to get my PR first. So that also delayed my intention to getting a
Yeah.
permanent resident. And when I got my permanent residency in 1992, uh, everything was chaos. Like there's no way I
Mm.
could want to study. All I want to do is work and support. And you know, my sisters and some of my brothers were just running away and through hardship and come out of the country and came to Kenya and refugee camps and you know
Mm.
try to help to get out. And it was really hard. And then you know everything stabilized. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really interesting, and certainly a story. I'm sure that there's much behind the scenes, more than what you're sharing with us this evening. However, you know, with the time that we are limited to here, I just want to take you, you know, through that now. I really honor you for the courage that you had through those days, because many of us go through certain things in life. It could be completely different, but we have come here today. We're a lot stronger because of those things. I've always said that be thankful for the lessons that you had. Be thankful for the sad times, the bad times, the good times, the not so good times, because it brings us through to who we are today. So today you are Abdi
Before
Alasso.
I, I, I just want to interrupt you before I didn't finish this
Yeah.
story. Uh, in I think 2 years after 1994, in the middle of still not knowing what happened, someone I know, he was our relative, but older than me, but distant relative, called me from Stockholm, Sweden, I don't know how he got my number, but there was a landline that time. There was no mobile phone, so he called me in a landline, and then I just answered the phone. I said, "Do you know who's speaking?" I said, "No." He said, "This Abdul." He told me who was, and he said, "I'm sorry to hear. They saying your dad's passed away within that time, the war. And that was the last time I hear
Oh,
from." Yeah, he
oh,
he
that is
he was.
very sad, Abdi.
Yeah, and not only he died, he didn't die for like either disease or being obviously it's being killed, but nobody knows who kills him. He's just missing,
Yeah.
missing. Like one night because he was influential. I think he was a businessman. He must have something to do with the how things changed or something. But there some soldiers came to our house one night. They took him and they've never been seen again.
I am very, very sorry to hear that. That must have been really, really hard for you, particularly because you weren't living there. You were over here
No.
in Australia, so to hear that news must have just been so heartbreaking. So that yeah, incredible. So yeah, I don't know what else to say. It's just very sad when that sort of thing happens. When I hear of that. So um, did you have much contact with your mum at that time?
No. Yeah, mom. No, later on there was no still communication. I didn't have anyone to talk to. But later on, 1998, 99, started a little bit connection. So mom is still alive. Most of my brothers alive, except with one girl and one boy. One boy just basically one day they were watching in a soccer in a stadium, and then there was a shell come on, and there's about 15,000 people die, including him. And
Mm,
another girl, my sister also died on her sleep. But mom is still alive. I still got two sisters and a brother who are still looking
okay.
after mom. They are home. They're back in Somalia.
Yeah. Okay. It makes me a little bit sad because we here in Australia. I'm born in Australia. Don't know anything different. I actually haven't travelled out of Australia as yet. But when you see or hear about those from war-torn countries, there are many people that you're going to resonate with all over the world, not just here in Australia, but many people who have had to flee. Children and the children with their mothers. Walking where they don't know where they're going. They don't know where to go next. They don't have food. They don't have water. They
Right.
just don't have a place anymore because it's just gone, and that saddens me because I personally have never lived through that. And I think that the courage it takes to continue on when you've come through those situations of hardship, of war torn, been there, had your house destroyed, had your, lost your brother, thousands and thousands of people losing their lives. It really is important. And for me right now, it's important that you told your story because people need to hear that. People need to see that there's somebody who has gone through those type of circumstances that you have no control over, and it's hard to pull yourself through that without sometimes feeling sorry for yourself, you know. But you seem to be very strong, and obviously you went on then to, like I said, it takes a lot of courage, and I'm sure anybody would like to hear where that strength came from and what you did next. So carry on with your story, please.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. As you said, Narelle, it's very hard. I mean, I was here. I didn't face all that hardship, but coming from there is one thing, but experiencing on that is also another level. I have some family and friends that some of them are here and some of them are back home, still in the same place, and
Mm,
yeah, they experienced really, really something traumatic, something traumatic, whether it's happened to their family or they witnessed it, or you know witnessing something like that is also very difficult. I mean,
terrible.
when I go back one of the days, I think I go back 1996, while the war was going on. I left it here, not intentionally, but I think my mom sent a message through some relatives, and they somehow, one guy tell me a different story, but took me to Dubai. So when I was in Dubai, then I talked to her, and they said, while you're in Dubai, you cannot go back until you come back here. And the war was still going on. There was a divided road. They were divided between, the city was divided into two factions. So I was belong one of the factions as a tribesman. So I landed from one side. And one morning I was sitting somewhere, and I saw this electric ball standing right in front of me. And that electric ball didn't have one place where I can put my finger that there was no bullet went through.
Oh my gosh, how was it still standing?
It was that little skinny ball, and every corner that I looked, there was no space that I can put my finger on it. Everywhere there was a bullet that went through. Meaning, say, a fire, crossfiring. So many people die, even crossfire, like they don't even know where it's coming from. You couldn't
No.
walk. I have this
Oh
story.
my,
Some people who are talking, they're sitting in a restaurant or bar, and then one of them stand up because he was sitting too long. He couldn't sit any long, so he stand up. Then bullet hit him. He can fall down, die. A bullet from nowhere. Nobody knows where it came from. So those people who are experiencing and witness those traumas are more worse than me. But for me, experiencing, what I have, my intentions, I want to come here, I want to study here, I want to make life a little bit here, and then, go back and help my father, who was a businessman. He was a businessman, so I want to help him to do his trading. But all these things went upside down. The country went upside down. Dad is gone. No more education for me. It was totally new way of life, new way of changing. So I basically found myself 10, 15 years here, and I said, well, you're getting old. I came here when I was 20, so 50 years, I'm almost 35. I said, I need to get married. I need to have a life. I need to change, you know. This is my home now, Forget about what's happening in Somalia. Do what you can do to help. But then I have to reshape and retarget and rearrange myself again and make a living here now, permanently.
yeah. Well, it's like rebuilding, isn't it? Like when everything is lost, where do you start? You have to start from the bottom. When you hit rock bottom,
Right.
which obviously in your life you hit rock bottom quite a few times, in the sense of the loss. The emotion involved around it. Is just the strength, resilience. Jean came up with that just on one of the messages. Is the resilience it takes for one person to get back up and keep moving. Because in life we do get knocked down a little bit, and sometimes we get knocked down a lot, and sometimes we have to start over many times. So did you go on to find a beautiful wife, and do you have children?
Yes, I did. I did find a beautiful wife. I had in 1998, 99. I married 1996, but it took her 2 years and a half to come here to get processed, her visa application from Nairobi to here. Yes, she came 1999. My firstborn son was born in 2000, the millennium. So I got 5 kids, 2 boys and 3 girls. The oldest is 24, as you know, from 2024. My daughter is 22. Then I have other three ones who are, one is just finishing year 12, she's 18. Another one is year 10 next year, he's 15. And I had
Right.
a little daughter, one, who is also starting
Oh,
high school. Yeah, year
wow.
7.
Well, you certainly did your in adding to our population, but also about leaving the legacy that you're building right now to some amazing young people that I'm sure they have experienced through what you went through your stories and things that you have shared with them. So I think that's really beautiful, Abdi.
Thank you.
Yeah. Now going on, you've got a wife, you've got five, and my youngest daughter is 24, nearly 25 this year. So just moving on, You know, like obviously your children are set up, they went to school and things like that. But I just want to step into ONPASSIVE. So can you tell me the journey into where you found ONPASSIVE, or how ONPASSIVE found you? Because I think this is going to be an interesting story as well.
Yes, thank you, Narelle. Good question. Yeah, we always found one way or the other. Uh, as a struggle, putting food on the table, 5 kids, not only to myself, but then supporting other families back
Mm,
home, whether it's mom or relative or someone just calling me and say, look, I have a child at hospital, or I have a, cousin is sick, There's always constantly this phone call or messages were coming in. And when this digital world come to town, so people were easily reachable. So I was sort of like every day I was just working, not getting anywhere. I said, look, and then I did find out that that slogan always stays with me. If you keep working, if you don't, what was that slogan that he say? Uh,
don't
if you
work a
don't make
day.
money while you sleep, no, if you don't make money while you sleep, you work the rest of your life.
That's
So
right.
that online online automation side hustle sort of things struck me, and I get curious on that, and then I interacted with so many different people on social media, and then some of them I didn't want to start it, but then I started few of them, and at the end of the day, we all know that it's not because what they it's all about is bad, or the product is bad, or the service is bad. It's about
Mm,
the can you make what you were coming for, the intention, the integrity of what was there.
mm,
So was not everybody could do it. You
mm,
need that high skill level, you need that marketing skills, you need that community, you need to be really influencer to you know uh, get that high level of things. And it's not only you at the end of the day, because on passive changed my mindset. The way I used to think, it was always me. I didn't
mm,
worry about who comes after me, whether they're successful or not. It was only me. But I still couldn't succeed with those kind of different niches that I joined, because
mm,
the people couldn't do what I was doing. And you need
mm,
to successful people do what you do. People need to advertise. People need to come to social media and create the content, and uh, call people to participate. So I was doing that. I was spending money on ads and going live every day, but none of my people were willing to come, because they didn't want to do that. So
mm.
I realized it's not going nowhere. So in that time I was doing that. Thank God I come to one of these webinars on passive one day, and no, I didn't come to the webinar. I saw a webinar, or was it through YouTube, through Papua New Guinea? I think it was what's the our brother leader on Babu?
David Bacow. David
Yeah, yeah,
Bacow.
yeah. David
Yeah.
Bacau. I think I saw while scrolling Facebook, I came to David Bacau talking about
Wow.
on passive. But then it was
Wow.
late in the night. I get interested. And then every time I was trying to look something, I wanted to know what is the product.
Yes.
Is it beauty product? Is it health and well-being product? Is it what is it? So I somehow realized that this thing is digital product. But then
Yeah.
there was no webinar. I didn't get the idea to get the link, so I left it there, and then I missed it. I could not know how to go back. I was looking somehow. How am I gonna find it? What was that thing? I was curious, and I want to find someone else who's talking about it. Another
Absolutely.
person. So I was looking the scroll, and nothing's coming up. Nothing's coming. So 5 days, 6 days. 7 days, nothing's coming. And then finally, I get into Dr. Bill Williams talking about it.
Right.
Came to my newsfeed, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I talked to Dr. Bill. I talked to through messages. He told me about it, and yeah, I mean, I just said, look, what is it cost to join? He told me how you join, and he sent me the link. And then what admired me to join, regardless. I mean, I was really first in. I was not hesitant. I was not. I was like a, I will need to know later. Not
Yeah.
because what inspired me was the digital product, because I knew digital product is a very strong niche. It's a valuable, and it's not a physically. It's not like a drop shipping. It's not like I have to sell to
No.
someone, Yeah.
No,
So
it's the way
that
of
was
it's the way of the future, isn't it? You know, digital AI, you know, the IT technology and machine learning behind all of the products that OnPassive brings to us. I think that's where a lot of people, if you're that way inclined, or you just know I need to move away or into something that's going to be the future, you know, the young ones all know about it in a sense, you know, so keep going. I'll let you go with your
yes,
story. Thank you.
yeah, thank you. And yeah, so I day after day, the day I joined on the old founders, day after day, I start to go and see the webinars with the other leaders. Well, I think it was a two times a week. It was Tuesday and Saturday night. I was working night shifts,
Yeah.
uh, driving, so
What,
I was
what
easy.
Sorry, what year did you join, Abdi?
2021.
2021. Wow.
March,
Exciting.
March 21. I
Yeah.
think it was March 21. Yeah, March 21. Yeah, after the yeah, March 21. Yeah, March 21 on my first year, March 10th, 2021. After
Excellent.
the COVID. Yeah. So yeah, I was watching the webinars and I was just excited every day to really see what series. I was inspired for Charles and Susie and Marty and everyone coming in on those webinars. That's when they were still calling founders.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, I went to many other webinars and know everyone, and the Q&A and roundtables and all that. So it
Yeah.
was really joy after joy, joy after joy, joy, excitement after
Yeah.
excitement, and the whole mindset change after that. It's our CEO himself talking, Mr. AshMufareh, amazing guy. I think his talking is worth millions of dollars. You pay those kind of talks and mindset things. People pay to listen. People to get those kind of
Yeah.
talking and values and how things should be and shouldn't be. That itself is a value really. So
Mm.
yeah, whole things changed, darling, and I'm really excited. Yes.
Yeah, no, it is very exciting. You know, I think, like you said, in those early days when we were going to webinars, we were staying up late, we were getting up early. You know, there were so many beautiful people that were interacting. You know, it was still in that time when we were still bringing in founders. That finished, I think it's the 22nd of June, 2022. We finished taking founders in. When people see the vision of our CEO, I think that had a lot to do with it. You know, that there was finally somebody out there who was going to stand up and say, we need to bring change to our world. We need to bring hope for humanity. We need to help those people who've been working and trying to earn an income online or a second income or a plan B. And we need to do that because he worked in all of those sectors and he saw the corruption, but those who made the money. And like yourself, when you said that you went out there and you were doing it, but nobody could do what you do. And one of the biggest mistakes I think they ever made in saying to anybody was fake it till you make it. And I
Mm,
really do not like that, because
mm,
what you're doing is you're putting yourself across as somebody fake. Oh yeah, I'm making all this money, or I'm getting this, or doing this, and you just got to do what I do. And they suck people into this funnel of falseness, you know, where our CEO, AshMufareh, has been nothing but transparent. He's been there, he's advised us. Yes, there has been some setbacks along the way, as there is in every business. Now, I'm interested to hear, I will get over to the chat for a little bit and give you a little bit of a break, and then we'll come back to you. However, I'm interested in knowing, what is it that you want to see from this, in the sense, there's two parts to this. One is, what are you excited about? Like, what platform, what tools are you excited about? And the other one is, what about, you know, what you want to do with it, firstly for yourself, and then secondly for helping other people. So if you can sort of take those two and put them together, that would be great.
Yeah, thank you, Jill. And Narelle, very good question. Yeah, well, as we already know by listening so many months and years to our CEO and the value of ONPASSIVE and the reason why, we already know that the monetary side is set on, so we don't worry about that. So now it comes to, what can we do to help our CEO's vision, that it should be a correction to the corruption, that everybody have to have the opportunity, whether it's the value of the product, user based, you know, user values, what are these customers getting as a quality based product, or if you want to make, you know, like work with OnPassive, then you're still able to make money. That's one thing, the whole value of OnPassive based on the what Mr. Ash is providing. It's in, that's why he says it's not a typical business. It's not. It's a whole concept of giving values, whether it's the customer or the
That's right. Yeah.
the user or
That.
anything. You know what I mean? So so the best thing I like about it, in the product wise, is having, after when you fill your pocket, having that O plus, you know, by impacting one person at a time, you know, it's something I look forward to, because I know that at the end of the day, we're leaving this world. We're not going to be here permanent. For us, we have been impacted. It's very simple thing to ask. I impact your life. Can you impact others? I mean, I
Yeah.
always wanted to impact the others, but the time, the financial, would not allow me. I always,
Yeah.
sometimes I think about myself. I see something or someone that needs help, whether it's a, you know, what can I do? What can I help to that person? I wish I could do that. I wish I could afford to help that person, you know, but it wouldn't allow me. So now I got that opportunity. It's a dream come true. And now I
Yeah.
know that I will leave that legacy, and I will, you know, impact many people, to societies, you know, building maybe as many roads as I can, many hospitals as I can, interacting with all these founders or affiliates that OnPassive have, give them, you know, give, you know, so it's really one thing that struck me many times into my memory, when Ash said, you know, the power is giving is 10 times more fulfilling than receiving. That
Yeah.
is true. You know, when you give something, you feel that fulfillment for yourself in your heart. You help someone. But
Yeah.
when when you are the needy and someone gives you something, it might not much as value to you, because you need it, you want it, you got it, or you can say thank you. But when you help someone, is that's when the difference. So I'm really excited
Absolutely.
to, yeah.
That quote came to me as soon as you said that. That quote from Mr. Ash came, you know, about the 10%. It's scientifically proven that you
Mm,
feel so much better when you
mm,
give rather than receive. And that is so true
yes,
for many of our listeners. I know that they feel the same way. I know that they, you know, cannot wait to get out there and help as many people as possible, because it's not necessarily about us. And right back in the beginning, we talked about mindset. And I know Jean spoke about this, and Jean wrote a message to say that, you know, how all of us have changed our mindset as we came into this. And mine was completely different. Mine was about Miss Mimi, my great niece, for Obless and things like that. So that hasn't changed. But my mindset, my love of people, my care factor, even though everything that we've been through, and yourself included, and those out there who've had it tough and still having it tough, keep going. That's a very strong thing, is keep going, because it's never going to be what it was today. We're never going to have that day again. Make it happy, make it strong, and do what you can, because we don't expect, miracles. Well, we do expect miracles from the Lord, but we don't expect ourselves to just go and fix something overnight. You know what I mean? So it really is a beautiful blessing. So I just want to take it quickly before we sort of go over to a couple of things I need to share. Is there something personal, something for you and your wife? Don't worry about your children. They're going to be fine. Don't worry, you're going to help other people. But what about you personally? What is it, something, that one thing that you think, you know what, I just want to get that for me?
Yeah, darling, true. Very good question. I do have that in mind, that particular that I want to really have impact. Being a young man or young girl and not having that guidance, financial support, mentor of being a father and mother, when I came here, I was 20. So some
Mm,
of the things that I miss as advice, whether it's, so I want to help, but basically what I mean to get to all that my experience of what someone needs, like my own, what I went through is like, there's so many kids, so many young kids in Somalia that has been orphaned.
yeah,
Orphans on that Somali civil war. There are thousands and thousands of kids that have no mom and dad.
yeah,
They live in the streets. They grab anything they got it, anything they get, or steal it, or pickpocket it, or go into some sort of a drugs, and they don't have
mm,
relatives, they don't have mom and dad. So many street kids, that orphanage. And that is really what I want to do. I want to make a college. I want to make a big
mm,
building where I accommodate them, food
mm,
provided, shelter provided, education provided, guidance given, make them,
and it's yeah, that's where Academy will come into great play there, about the education side of it. Obless will be able to help, and there's many founders or early affiliates or grand ambassadors, whatever you want to call us, that are going to be able to step up and help. If we've got 1.4 million positions, and one person puts in $1, then everybody's going to follow suit, because we really want to just combine together or come together to be able to help those, because I also help a young man who looks after orphan children. They don't have necessarily an orphanage, but he has 8 young children. And the saddest thing that I heard coming from his mouth was that, because my sister does foster care over here and takes in babies and things like that. However, over there, they just throw them in the street, and that really saddened me. It saddened me to the point that no child is ever asked to be brought into this world, and yet they're treated so badly, or just left on the side of the road if they're not, if they've got nothing. And it just breaks my heart as a mum to think that a mum has to do that to be able to go on and live her life, I suppose, and forget about the child that she had. So there is much, much work to be done. Like I said, Academy will be fantastic for setting up these orphanages, hospitals, the roads, like you said, firstly, infrastructures and things like that, schools where these kids feel love for the very first time in a lot of these. Look, I tell you, the love that flows from these, the guy that I support and help, the love that you get back is something that you've never ever really experienced before, because they come from a different a different way of acceptance in life, and they're just so grateful for everything. So I think that what you're going to do there is going to be truly amazing, and there are many here that will support that. Now, Abdi, I'm going to give you a couple of minutes break. I need to go over and share a couple of things, and then I'll come back to you for some final words as well. So please bear with me while I do this. So welcome everybody here. I can see some jumping on that are coming in from all over the world, and we really do appreciate that. Birgit and Jean, thank you for being here. I do want to say that today I had a little bit of sadness. My elderly neighbours, they flew to their daughter in Brisbane here in Australia 2 weeks ago, and today we found out that their daughter died of cancer. She had an aggressive cancer that was found, and then she died very soon afterwards. When I say elderly neighbours, he's 82 and Margaret will be 81 in December, and they're just the most beautiful neighbours you could ever want. Sometimes we look at life and think, oh my goodness, like how to get to 82. But as she said to me on the phone today, you don't expect to lose your child. And again, that hit home for me. I know that many of us on here have lost people. Lost people have recently. Jean, I send sincere condolences to you and your family at this time. We know that death is a part of life. It, like Abdi said, none of us are getting out of here alive. There is going to be a day when we're not going to be here anymore. Think about what legacy you can leave for those here. Make sure that you're telling these people that you love them. Make sure that you tell them every day how important they are to you, and make sure that everything that you do is towards what you're going to leave behind, that legacy of love. It doesn't have to be, a big bank account. It just needs to be something that they will remember you for, remember who you were, the heart that you had. And it just becomes more and more every day. We're a big family within ONPASSIVE. We hear, of the deaths. We hear of those things that are happening around our area, our communities, and things are pretty tough sometimes. But I just want to say to all those out there, if you're going through some tough times, find somebody to support you. Reach out. There are people who care about you, and this isn't where it ends. Okay, you've got the strength to get up and keep going. So I'm just going to say a couple of hellos. I saw Shari there. Shari Green, thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate that. Raja, thank you for coming in. Again, Jean, thank you for all your beautiful comments in there. I'm got a little bit sad now, so I'm just going to try and bring myself through that. Berger, thank you so much for all your comments as well. I really do appreciate it. Hafel, sorry, Jean's going to teach me one day how to speak fluent in many different names. Thank you for that, Jean. M. Kaylee, thank you once again for being here. Those coming in on my social medias, whether it be Facebook, my Facebook author page, Narelle Warcon author, or those coming in who through YouTube or LinkedIn, thank you so much. Thank you. If you could leave a comment after this, please share something nice, positive with how Abdi has shared his story today. It takes great courage to come on here and share some of your life, and this is only a little tiny bit of it. So make sure that you respect that and leave something as a message for him to let him know that you appreciate him sharing part of his story, because I'm sure, like me, it touched your heart. So I'm just skimming through here. Abdi, I'll come back to you soon. Shah or Shay, Nuaz, I know Yoni was here, or Johnny. I'll get that right one day. Thank you so much for being here. I've got, look, I tell you what, if you want to, I asked in the beginning about the question of enjoy the journey, and I asked if you could write something down there. I know that I will have to go through these a little bit later because we are running over time at this at this present time. I do want to take you over quickly. I am a published author. My name is Narelle Warcon. My book is called Blonde Roots. I wrote my book to bring hope to others that have suffered through or are still suffering through physical, sexual, mental abuse. And there's so much going on. It's prevalent today that spending the money on awareness doesn't help those in need. We need to stand up. We need to talk about what's happened in our lives, and as hard as what that is sometimes, and share with others so that they know that there's a safe place that they can come. So if you know anybody who may be going through sexual, physical, or mental abuse, if you know anybody who may, want to, or somebody that you want to purchase for, my book is available as a downloadable on Amazon. It is not an expensive item as a downloadable. We are still working on get it as a printable from Amazon. However, I do have the print version here in my hot little hands, and I also sign the book for you. If you are coming in from overseas, we need to just work out what the delivery will be on that, and I can get that sent over to you. I know that I got a message this afternoon from Jane Redfern's wife, who has read my book and finished it. And yes, the review, which I will post probably on my Facebook somewhere, is just incredible. That like in one of it, she said, you don't know who you're standing next to or what they've been through in life. You think, or she said, you've come through looking unscathed, which means that I don't look like I've been through those things, and I don't know how people put a look to that. But sometimes it's about the strength that you have each day, the way that you can get up, and that strength. So I'm saying you have it. You are amazing. You are worthy. You are enough. Now I'm just going to flick quickly to my website. I won't be long, and then I'll come back to you as well, Abdi. So this is my website. You will see that we are sort of looking at doing some changes, and I will be asking some questions of you guys that attend for some information or some feedback from you that might be really good for us moving forward. So like I said, this is the website. This is the blog page. Like I said, I blog. I do mostly daily. Sometimes I get a little bit, caught up with having to do other stuff. Note to self, let go of the past, for it no longer serves you. And how true is that for our message today? We don't have to forget it, right? But let go of the hurt and pain that we may have suffered through, and find that strength inside. I believe in the Lord. I love the Lord, and he gives me strength every day. And I'm sure, absolutely 120,000%, that he brought me through to be where I am today, to be able to share with you my story, so that it does bring hope and for another person or a young child. So embrace change. It's a natural part of growth. We all should know that. Be the change. Obviously, I was on Be the Change and Changing this week. Be the change that you wish to see in the world. Let your light shine today. You have that light inside, just as we're seeing with Abdi, him sharing his story about, his diamond, the diamond within, which we all have. Just quickly over to the book, and you will see my book there. It is called Blonde Roots. There is a picture in the back behind me here. Like I said, I didn't write the book to become a bestseller. I didn't write the book to make $1 million. I wrote the book because my story was a story that needed to be shared, because it is a big story, and it needed to be shared with those who have or are going through, that people can, get that message out there. There are people who still care about them. Okay, so here we are. Now, again, like I said, I will go back over these messages. If you're coming in through Facebook or LinkedIn, I will come back to you. It's been a bit of an emotional day for me, so maybe tomorrow, just to reply to everybody and say thank you for your support. Jean, thank you so much. I'm not going to make it through this too good. Okay, so in saying that, I'm going to say thank you all once again. I'm going to go back over to Abdi and ask Abdi to finish off with there's anything that he can say, that is uplifting, Some positive words that you'd like to leave with our audience today, Abdi, I'd really appreciate that.
Yes, thank you, Narelle, for bringing me back on again. Yes, first of all, I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to come here and share my journey, my life. I want to also say thank you for those who are participating on future and earlier and in your journey, read the book and everything. Yeah, I'll thank them for taking the part to come with us tonight. Yes, yeah, as you said, life is always, we are here for transit. Whatever journey you want to impact, or whatever reason you might have a hardship, everything is predetermined. Everything that mean to happen to you mean to happen to you. But you need to have that strength, as you said. You need to have that can-do attitude. And here we have a man who really, for 6 years, trying to bring the best uh, product and company that will impact to humanity. That's the strength, and we are part of that. And we're looking forward to change many things, whether it's the services we provide, or whether it's the human impact we're going to create. So it's really a bright future ahead, and a better world ahead, and through ONPASSIVE. And yeah, we are excited, and I want to thank the team, the family, his family, CEO, AshMufareh's family, anyone who's behind the scene. And, God willing, it will come to the top. It will be the best company ever exist, the most revolutionary company ever exist, as he said. And yeah, that will help us get where we wanted to do, an impact to humanity, as I said. And I will thank you very much, Narelle, for inviting me again.
Thank you, Abdi, and thank you for everyone who's just either popping on or has been here from the beginning. I just noticed Glenda Forbes there, so welcome, Glenda. Thank you for being here. One of the things I want to share is that enjoy the journey I started with today, and sometimes that journey can be difficult. Reach out to those people around you. You have the strength inside of you. You may not feel it, you may not see it, but you have it inside of you. We are here to love and support on you, and there are many of us that you could reach out to if you're finding it's a struggle. For those, again, that have been through some tough times of recently, whether it's been losing a loved one, a friend, and knowing that some of our friends are hospitalized right now and going through some tough times of their own, prayer does work. So if you could please pray for everybody, not only in ONPASSIVE, but also for those that are close to you. Thank you, Jean, again, for your support. It really is amazing what you share. Today, I'm going to end off with just saying that I really do appreciate what everybody has done. We have an amazing family, a unity that's tied together with love and heart. If you want to come on to my show, as you've seen over the last few weeks, people sharing their stories, because you know what? It's not all about me. It never was. But the thing is, these people have a story and it needs to be shared. I have a platform here. It is YouTube. We go live for Who, What, Where Wednesday, for, the Diamond Within. If you can't make that time, we can organize a different time for you to come on and share your story and share your heart and allow us to show that diamond within you. Abdi, it has been an absolute pleasure, an absolute honor, and I wish you all the very best. I know that we will be in contact right down the line. What you have been through is nothing but courageous. So thank you, everybody, for being here. Remember to share out and share to those who might need, some sort of encouragement today and loving on, and let them know that they're not alone. Okay, and thank you. I love to you all again, Abdi. Thank you so much. We're going to finish off here, and I shall see you again next week on Who, What, Where Wednesday. Please reach out if you want to share your story. Thank you again. God bless you all and love you.